to you, like, let's get to the burning question. Was this hearing a win for the Democrats? Do you think it was a win for the
I I think that this hearing actually did empower the Democrats who want to start the impeachment process.
Democrats?
But I'm not gonna say it was a clear win. If it definitely wasn't a win for the Republicans who wanted to either portray Mueller as a biased guy,
Mm-hmm.
like that was not happening.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. Those who wanted to portray, like there were a bunch of Republicans afterwards who wanted to portray Mueller as this old incompetent guy who didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what he was talking about. I don't think that really holds.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Trump base might believe that, but I don't think, quite frankly, I don't think they're actually that, you know, that stupid to believe that.
Nope.
I don't like for all the criticism that I might have for your base, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think they're that stupid. Mueller, he knows what he was doing, what he
Mm-hmm.
does. Although he wasn't like that, like box office guy, but
Yeah.
he still knows what he was doing. So that wasn't a win for Republicans for sure. It was not a win for Trump, although he's screaming on Twitter right now. But
Mm-hmm.
it was not a win. It was not a clear win for Democrats either.
Mm-hmm.
But just having those clips that they can actually show when Mueller is asked questions. I'll put the audio of Mueller somewhere here, but he
Mm-hmm.
was asked about, like, did you exonerate the president? He
Mm-hmm.
was clear, said no.
What about total exoneration? Did you actually totally exonerate the president?
No.
Wait, so for you, is it more of a win for Democrats?
More for Democrats than
I would disagree,
Republicans.
but I'll let you finish. Like,
Yeah, but I like to finish this. I just want to say it's a win for Democrats because they're going to be using these clips and bring it get to the broad public
mm-hmm.
and showing that whatever Trump was tweeting was
Mm-hmm.
100% false, and
Yeah.
actually having Mueller say that this is 100% false what Trump was saying. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, I think yes, in the upcoming weeks, this will be better.
Mm-hmm.
This will play better for Democrats than it will play for Republicans.
The only reason I would disagree is because of this. I feel like it's more of a loss on Democrats for this simple fact that going into the hearing, their goal was always that Robert Mueller will bring the report to life. That was one of their main things that they wanted. They wanted it to do, and as we see in the actual hearing, that did not happen by any stretch of the imagination. It actually kind of it's because obviously a lot of people did not read the report. It really, in some sense, it was more the Democratic congressman and woman giving the presentation of what's in the report. They obviously spoke more about the report and visualized it more than Robert Mueller actually did. Robert Mueller himself was just giving yes, no, beyond the scope, not in my purview, etc., etc. Second thing I would say is that Robert Mueller, like the Democrats, really wanted Robert Mueller to make their job towards impeachment easier. That's the main thing they wanted, because you don't go into impeachment without public support. You don't want to throw the country into an impeachment hearing, because it doesn't get more divisive than that in terms of politics. And America's politics is already very polarized. Everybody's very partisan. So basically, Robert Mueller delivered I would say the biggest loss to Democrats when he had that exchange with Ted Lieu, when Ted asked him, okay, so you did not charge Donald Trump because of the OLSC opinion, and were it not for that, you would charge him.
I'd like to ask you, the reason again that you did not indict Donald Trump is because of OLC opinion stating that you cannot indict a sitting president, correct?
That is correct.
I remember hearing that, and I'm like, oh
Yeah,
no.
that would have been.
I thought I was because I was just hiding in my earphones because I was doing something. I heard that. I'm like, he didn't just say that. He did not just because that's the thing. I
That
wasn't
would have been-
expecting it. I'm like,
yeah.
he said he's staying with the purview. I'm like, he just delivered the Democrats the only thing they needed to basically get the ball rolling with impeachment.
Yeah.
And going into his next hearing, the first thing he says, I want to clarify what actually happened with my exchange with.
I want to add one correction to my testimony this morning. I want to go back to one thing that was said this morning by Mr. Liu, who said, and I quote, "You didn't charge the president because of the OLC opinion." That is not the correct way to say it. As we say in the report, and as I said at the opening, we did not reach a determination as to whether the president committed a crime.
I was basically saying that because of the OLC opinion, we did not make our charging decision, period. That wasn't what we were going into obstruction of justice with. We weren't going with, okay, let's find whether we can indict him or not. What we wanted to do, and it says it in the report, he wanted to basically get the information regarding obstruction of justice while the information was still fresh.
Yeah.
And I think that was a major blow for Democrats who are hoping for Robert Mueller to make their job easier. And even moving on to, because obviously Robert Mueller's fitness was obviously was questioned, and I don't think you can really question his character, but you could always question the little things, such as when he was asked about I think with Congressman Welsh, when he was asked about the conspiracy and collusion. He was asked whether whether they're synonymous with each other in the colloquial term, like in terms of general public, but it's obviously legally not the term. Nobody uses collusion, but in terms of just for understanding it for us, collusion, conspiracy, are they synonymous? Robert Mueller was like, no. But in the report, he said a completely different thing.
Let me just be clarified. You stated that you would stay within the report. I just stated your report back to you. And you said that collusion and conspiracy were not synonymous terms. That was your answer, was no.
That's correct.
In that, page 180 of volume 1 of your report, it says, as defined in legal dictionaries, collusion is largely synonymous with conspiracy, as that crime is set forth in General Conspiracy Statute 18 U.S.C. 371. Now, you said you chose your words carefully. Are you contradicting your report right now?
Not when I read it.
So you would change your answer to yes then?
No. If you look at the language.
I'm reading your report, sir. It's a yes or no answer.
Page 180.
Page 180, volume 1.
Okay.
This was from your report.
Correct. And I leave it with the report.
So the report says, yes, they are synonymous.
Yes.
Hopefully, for finally, out of your own report, we can put to bed the collusion and conspiracy. One last.
Right. So that for some was already a point of like, does this guy not know what he put in the report? And I don't think that's the case at all. Like, this is not what I believe, but it's everything about hearings is optics, as you said. Yeah. The clips are very important because they give Democrats the ammo you need to show Trump lied about this, that, and here's Robert Mueller basically agreeing with that, right? And then basically the optics are very important. So Robert Mueller, these little moments does give ammo to the Republicans to use as, hey, look, Robert Mueller doesn't seem like he was completely he completely knew his whole report, and I don't expect him to know his whole report. Like, let's be honest, you have people working for you. Yeah, you have people.
400 pages.
Yeah, you have people working for you for a reason. But as you say, Republicans use everything they can get. So that's why I believe like it was more of a loss for the Democrats. But
it's not. So it wasn't a touchdown for Democrats. I will say that. And like, just to go back to the three parts that you're talking about the obstruction of justice. So like the Mueller report defined, like, they were talking about obstruction of justice and divided it in three parts, and they were trying to find whether those three parts were like, there's evidence for those three elements. So the first one is an obstructive act, and the second one is a nexus with an official proceeding. So like trying to like impede an official proceeding, and the third one is a corrupt intent. And when Mueller was talking about in the hearing, he basically agreed that those three parts were present, and they were documented in the reports. However, what he came out to say, I'll put the audio here, but it's
found evidence that President Trump took steps to terminate the special counsel, correct?
Correct.
The tweet just read was cited on page 89 in volume 2 constitutes a public acknowledgement by President Trump that he was under criminal investigation, correct?
I think generally correct.
Is it fair to say that Donald Trump viewed the special counsel's investigation into his conduct as adverse to his own interests?
I think that generally is true.
Those are the elements of obstruction of justice. This is the United States of America. No one is above the law. No one. The president must be held accountable one way or the other.
But let me just say, if I might, I don't subscribe necessarily to your the way you analyze that. I'm not saying it's out of the ballpark, but I'm not supportive of that analytical charge.
Thank you.
He said that when he came out, he said that I don't necessarily subscribe to the way you analyze that, but I'm not saying that it's out of the ballpark, you know. So he was being, he kind of, like, he didn't agree with the conclusions, but the other parts preceding that, he was basically saying yes, but I don't agree with the conclusion. So that's like, you know, I don't know what the Democrats will make of that, you know, but that was a big blow for the Democrats for sure. And